Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Local Influencers Podcast. Today I'm joined by Darcy from BoxDrop Corpus Christi, and that mattress place.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into that for you guys. But Darcy, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being flexible with your schedule. I really appreciate it. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited to get into it. But first off, let me say y'all's website is beautiful. I've seen some very especially you're locally owned, you're veteran owned. I've seen some very janky websites lately as I'm doing some research, and y'all's is I'm a tech nerd, so y'all's is
Okay.
beautiful. It runs
Oh,
smoothly,
thank you. We
very easy to
actually we
navigate.
hired a local person to do it. Matter of fact, almost everything we do, we try and do local. Like I have all my shirts and all my swag is made locally. The website was done locally. Anything we can, we try and do as much local as possible. So
I love that. So why don't we start off with the obvious? We have, for those of you who follow on Instagram, you may have seen their Instagram, one of their Instagrams around, Box Drop, and then that mattress place. You kind of told me a little bit before we started recording, but for our listeners that don't know and that may be confused, it is one entity. And it's just you kind of use like you the way you put it was how Nike says like Nike just do it. Box drop is that mattress place. And then when you explained that, that made sense to me. So do you want to kind of
right.
explain that
So
to the listeners?
so box drop just in general, like some people are like I've had people actually walk into our store thinking that we are a drop box, like that we are like a mailboxes, etc. Because they were they were going to pick up a fax, and we had to explain that no, it's box drop, and so that card can get confusing, but it does have a national backing to it. So that's what it is, and we are a mattress store, and we sell mattresses just like any other mattress store, but one day my salesperson Nicole, who's been with us since the beginning, was talking about how she had gone to the dentist and was doing some kind of exercise downtown on the seawall, and in three different instances random people came up to her because she happened to be wearing a box drop shirt saying, hey, isn't that mattress place? And it literally happened like 2 or 3 days in a row, and she was telling me the story, and I jokingly said, I should make a t-shirt. And then I was like, hey, actually, I should make a t-shirt. So I called my friends at Elevated, and they made the logo, and it just went from there. And then we liked it so much, then we said, why don't we test it out? So we created a new Facebook and a new Instagram, but it's the same store. But so some people do get confused, but it's just like you said, it's a tagline, it's a slogan, and we actually registered it with the trademark, so it's kind of
Oh,
cool.
awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. It's like, isn't that mattress place? And
Right. So
it's
it like makes more sense. It's kind of cool.
a box shop. It's funny that you say that because I was the opening store. I opened I work in retail, and I opened the box lunch that's in the mall right now. It's like for those of you that don't know, it's like a similar to a Hot Topic type of store, but it's more like of a boutique style. And so I opened box lunch. It's called box lunch, and people thought we were lunchbox, so they thought we were a restaurant. And so we would get phone calls being like, hey, what do y'all serve? And I'm like, we serve merch, like like nerdy
Slogan.
merch, like what's up? And so it's funny that you say that because we had the same confusion. I was there for a year, and oh my goodness, it was crazy. So I understand your pain of
Yeah.
having to
And
clear
then
that
and
up.
even someone who knows our name, I can't tell you how many times they've typed in an email or in a text message, Dropbox. Like they flip it all the time. And
So
I stopped correcting. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool.
and again, I want to emphasize it is veteran owned, which is awesome because I love locally owned small businesses. I love veteran owned. So for those of you who I know a lot of people who specifically look for veteran owned places to shop. This is definitely local and they're veteran owned. So make sure you keep that in mind. How long have you guys
My
been in?
husband is the veteran. He's the from the he's the Coast Guard, and then I was a teacher, and so we do veteran and teacher discounts
That is awesome. I love
every
that.
day.
Um, how long have you guys been in business, and what made you guys get into this type of business, the mattress business? And
I
yeah,
was a teacher at Adkins for CCISD, and I hadn't. It wasn't me. It was my husband. He just wanted something. He wanted to be his own boss. And he's always been his own boss. He's been like a serial entrepreneur his like whole life, but he was looking for something different. And it kind of like fell in his lap. Like people like not headhunted, but someone called him and say, hey, we have an opportunity you think you'd be good at. And then from there, he did all the research. He did all the stuff. I was too busy being a teacher. And so we opened up August 1st of 2017. And then 3 weeks later, Hurricane Harvey hit. And as a result, our community was in need of beds, and we helped out a lot. We actually set up a place over in Aransas Pass and cooked for a bunch of people, and obviously closed down the shop and that was, and then we didn't even promote the business. Like it was just, let's go do something for our community. And somehow someone found out that we had a store, and I guess they said stuff on Facebook. And then when people were getting their insurance money and stuff, a lot of people came to us as a result. So it was kind of helped the business a lot.
I mean, it's not good because I remember Hurricane Harvey and the devastation.
Yeah, it's not good, but it was good.
People are still trying to recover from that. I know someone that literally lost like everything, like their shop, their house. So they lost their business and their house. So, that, I mean, it's good as in you guys went to give with an open heart, not expecting anything. And then it came back to you without the expectation of anything. Like you went into it just with an open heart, and then here it is, all this business comes back to you. So that's what I mean by that's good. So, and not the hurricane.
Right, no, I completely understand. Matter of fact, I grew up in Florida, so when I was posting on Facebook about how emotional it was during those days, I had friends privately messaging me and saying, how can I help? I'm over here in Colorado, or I'm in Florida, I remember whatever. And I'm like, well, we're still doing all this. And so I had probably over $1,000 or $1,500 sent to me from people who don't live in Texas. And then we took it and used it to buy more beds to send. And like the Rockport Fire Department lost, I guess, all their beds at their housing place, like when they sleep on campus or whatever it's called. And so we donated a whole bunch of beds over there and just kept buying more food to give out, because that's the thing that was the problem is, Hurricane Harvey hit on a Friday, and we did the cookout on Tuesday and Wednesday. And for some of them, they said that was the first hot meal they'd had in 4 or 5 days, because they had no electricity and they had no gas to go anywhere. So they were just doing canned foods, bread, peanut butter, that kind of stuff, because they couldn't even, because if you rent
the debris.
Yeah, it was horrible. So we took our we have a barbecue trailer. We took the barbecue trailer to the Bell's shopping parking lot and just set up and just kind of put it on Facebook and said, tell all your friends to come here, and we have food. And then it became a thing. Like people just started coming in droves and donating, dropping stuff off. I mean, some guy bought a tire U-Haul trailer full of water from Laredo. I don't know how they found out about us, but they drove all the way over, and it was just water. It was a really cool community effort. Our cousins live in Aransas Pass, and they are also military, and they were Army, and so they got all their Army friends involved. It was pretty awesome. It was
that's really cool. And so y'all have been after Harvey. Y'all, a couple of years go by, 2020 hits, right? COVID. Let's talk about how did that affect you guys, if it did, and then how were you guys able to kind of manage through that, because that affected everyone, and now it's still affecting us all, So I like to ask business owners, how did that affect you guys, if it did?
So when it first hit, so for most people who don't know anything about retail, tax season is the bread and butter of anyone who sells stuff. And so we make a lot of money, or our big money making time is, February to April. And then we kind of ride that out throughout the rest of the year. And it hit right around the big month. And so everyone, we just didn't know, people didn't want to come in. Obviously sales super dropped. Our salespeople, we put them on unemployment because we didn't know what was going on. So we ran the store. And it was, we went to appointments. So we went from being just walk on into, let's just make appointments so that there's not very many people inside and that kind of stuff. Um, and then when the stimulus checks came out, people started to want to spend the money. So we still kept the appointments. We still, did the whole sanitizing thing and all that stuff. And then we did apply for a PPP loan. And we did get it. A local bank helped us get it. And
Oh, thank God. I swear I thought you were going to say you didn't get it, because I've heard that so many times. And
no, we got it. We were one of the first people to apply, because that was like I'm the money person. Like I write the checks, they do all that stuff. And so I was immediately on it. And so we got approved. And I mean, that really did help. As a matter of fact, I actually just found out yesterday that it was officially forgiven. Like I don't have to pay it back. Like I just found out today.
Oh, thanks.
Yesterday.
Well, that's great. That's great news.
And but we have the business set up as an LLC with W-2s, and so that's also helpful. It's unfortunately when someone is a sole proprietor, they have a harder time getting that because of it's just the one person and stuff. But yeah, we were very lucky.
Yeah. Anyway, so
continued. It was definitely a slower year than years in the past, but it wasn't tragic. So we were fine. We did okay.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Now let's talk about the things that you have to offer, because sometimes I know mattress stores, I know that you guys sell like these real cool, like I've been wanting to try one, like the cooling pillows. I don't know if y'all do give like giveaways, or do y'all give those away like when they purchase a mattress or something, or
no, well, it depends on like the event or whatever. So
like whatever promotion you have
for sale. But yeah, sometimes when we do our big customer appreciation event, those are usually the big things we give away, or whatever. But yeah, we have cooling pillows, we have cooling mattress protectors, we of course have mattresses, we have very inexpensive ones, and then we have the ones that go up in the in the 2,000 range and stuff. So you're at like a king, because a lot of people like kings. It range from $200 for a king all up to like $2,200. So there's a range, and there's about 20 different mattresses in between there. So we usually can fit someone into a bed depending on their budget, and it just depends on what they are comfortable with. Like some people really like a hard bed, a firm bed. Some people really want it super, super soft. And then some people want the one in the middle. I mean, everyone is different. And then a bed that I think is super uncomfortable, someone like this is the best thing ever. So people who buy beds online, which I get, there's an industry out there. Don't get me wrong, I understand it. But in reality, people really want to lay on it first. Just like I want to try clothes on first, that kind of stuff. I still order on Amazon every once in a while, but I mean, there's a difference when you can touch it and feel it first before you take it home. And so I think that's why we've been able to still help the community, because we are a lower cost provider. We don't have like a sleep guarantee like some of the other people do, but that's also why they charge you double what we charge you. So there's a give and take. So that, hey, lay on it, take a nap on it, do whatever you need, and then make your decision. But if you want to go online and think you're going to save all this money and then you hate it, now you have to deal with somehow sending it back to get your money back. And then there's a restocking fee. So it's not as easy as people make it seem it is, but it's hard to sell. It's hard to explain that to the average person,
Yeah, that's where my mom is right now. I bought a mattress. I bought a mattress online and absolutely loved it. But I bought it because I needed it. And this is last year, this time in the midst of COVID. So I was like, right. I need a mattress. I'm not going to a store. And I like needed one because I could not sleep. And so I bought mine online, loved it, recommended my mom buy one. She buys one and she's like in the middle of that right now. Like she hates it. She's in the middle of a return. It's a pain. And like, she was already bought a new one here locally, but she is like, just she's just done with this mattress sitting in the garage. Like she hates it. And so yeah, like you said, there's nothing like and I was just, I guess, lucky that I got what I needed, but there is something that to touching it and feeling it. And it kind of goes with a lot of stuff. And I feel like that's why brick and mortar businesses in general, like although a lot of them are shutting down, I feel like they'll never really go extinct because there is nothing like that in-store experience. I'm addicted to Amazon. I mean, I get packages almost every day, but nothing will stop me from going here to like a local, like for Mother's Day, I got a local florist to do my mom's flowers. I got, I went to a local shop, a thrift shop, and then because you get that experience of like, let me get dressed and go out, and it's like a family day, especially with mattresses, because all like if you have kids, the kids like to like lay on them every single mattress, and you know what I mean. And I used to work in furniture, and so I know I would be that manager that's like eyeing the kids like jumping on my bed. I'm like, do not do that. Like, oh, I hate you. And so whenever someone, do y'all offer like in any kind of like financing or anything, or is it just like straight kind of like a cash?
No, we actually have several. We have, obviously, if you have really great credit, you're basically, we have Synchrony, which is kind of like you're just basically applying for a credit card or whatever. Almost every dealer has it. I know. I mean, like I have a Synchrony card through Amazon because I buy a lot of stuff from them as well. But it's that same, we have that. So that's for your good credit. Then we have what's called, they call it no credit needed programs, where if you pay it off in 90 days, so it's kind of like a 90-day loan. And you are charged, depending on which one you pick, between $50 and $100 is your fee to borrow. And then, so basically you pay that up front, you take the mattress home, you deal with them, like you're done with me, and then you deal with them on paying them back. And as long as you pay it back in the allotted time, sometimes we have a 90-day, a 100-day, and a 120-day program, depends on which one you sign up with. And as long as you pay them off, then you're done with whatever their fee is, right? It's when you go past it that they do start, they can gouge you and charge you a lot more, but that's in the contract. You've read it, we've explained it. So
okay, so you do offer options. It's not like I have to go in there with $2,000 cash or
no. Most people
Yeah.
don't. Most people do the financing, or I've had people split tickets. We actually have done layaway before. We're just like, you just don't get it until you paid it off. And I've had one person they were building a house and they knew what they wanted. And so they just basically were coming in like once every couple of weeks, giving a couple $100, and it took 9 months to pay it off. But they didn't want to run credit, because when you're building a house, they're like, don't run credit. It
like
could
absolutely nothing.
Like they're like, don't even touch a loan officer. And that, so we do that, we're almost like being your own savings account. We just help that way. And we don't charge layaway.
Okay. And what advice would you give someone if they wanted to, like a listener that's on the fence about opening a brick and mortar business in general? What, maybe top 3 advice, like things would you tell someone, like, just as far as opening a business and like, becoming an entrepreneur?
That's a really good question. My biggest thing, because we have outgrown our space and we were looking for something different, but this town it's not easy finding places, in my opinion. It's either really, really, really expensive, or if it's really cheap, it's because it's in a crap area and the building is crap. So, but that's a whole another point. But my thing, you would need to know your budgets for everything ahead of time. Don't rush into a building with a contract if you really don't understand. And that's another thing. Some people don't understand what's called triple net or CAMs, CAMs or NNNs, which is basically like, so if it's this much a month, but then they don't tell you about the triple net or the CAMs, that's how they mess you up, because triple net and CAMs are basically your insurance, and it's like another fee that really needs to be rolled into that monthly. And if you're not aware of stuff, that could, come to bite you. Be like, oh, look, this place is so great, it's only this much a month. But if they're not being honest about the CAMs and the triple nets, it could be higher. But then also from a budget standpoint, that's not your only monthly expense. You have electricity, you have water, you have security. Most people have security cameras, and then whatever decorations, because that building comes with usually nothing. You know what I mean? It's usually bare, sometimes it's painted, sometimes. So I would negotiate the crap out of that deal. Like, oh, I want build out, I want 5 months rent free, you know, just ask for whatever, because depending on how desperate, and really honestly in this market, people are desperate because COVID has messed up a whole bunch of businesses, and I mean, you go everywhere, they're closed, 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 right? So negotiate. I would put like the longest, most craziest wish list just to see what takes. Let's see what sticks. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times they just want that contract, you know, and then so they'll be willing to concede on some things, you know. One thing I did notice at the place we're at right now is that I didn't do the signing of the contract the first year, but be aware of like things like the air conditioner responsibility, because ours was written that it's 100% our responsibility. So even though this was like a 50-year-old AC unit, when it broke, I had to replace that thing, and it was like $3,000, and we had to do it. Like that guy didn't. The guy that owns the building. So now when I do leave, whenever I do leave, he's got this brand new AC unit. You know what I mean? Like it's things like that. Look at every single part of that.
All the fine details.
The contract is 50 pages. You know what I mean? And make sure you understand it. That would be like one thing.
or if you have
really is important.
Or if you have like a lawyer friend or someone in.
Well, yeah, exactly. Get a professional.
Have them read over it. That way you don't have to, because they'll find all those things for you.
Right. And then location really, really, especially in this town, is important. Like it really is. Like honestly, you put something off of Navigation or Lippard, you're probably not going to get business. Sorry. Like that's just, you know what I mean? So depending on the masses and the type of things you are offering to the community, your location is going to be key. Like okay, you're from here, so you know that place off, and I'm not trying to diss any location, but you know that location off of, you're going into the Bluff, and it's really hard to get to because you really have to exit really far away and do a bunch of loop-de-loops to get to it. And it's my husband and I say it's where restaurants go to die. There's been like 4 or 5 restaurants in the past 5 years there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. I live on the opposite side. I live in Annabelle and Fallon, Island, and so I don't go that way too much. But I do know that in Flower Bluff, like you do have to exit sometimes to get to a business and do like.
So if you're going into Flower Bluff, it'd be on the left-hand side. There's this restaurant, and it's been 4 or 5 different names, and I've only lived here for 8 years now, and it's every time something goes there, I'm like, wow, it's not gonna last, and like it just just things like that, like.
There are locations like that out here that
there's like this one building never survive.
There's like this one building that it's been like 30 restaurants, and I'm like, why did you buy that?
I know, I'm like, man, it must be cheap because
no one's gonna go there. Like,
so location is key, is a true statement.
I agree. Like if you're not like on the south side of town, because that's the up and coming, which is
but probably south side, depending on where south side. Like honestly, we've looked at places on south side for us. And I'm like, I feel like it's too south side because we would be alienating. We have a lot of customers who are nowhere near south side. You know,
me, right? like me, I'd be, that's like a 40-minute drive.
Right. You know, but some people like, I'd rather do that than, to save money, because we are technically, one of the more inexpensive places in town. So.
And where's up and coming is surprisingly, I mean, there's not a lot there right now. It's downtown. It's up and coming. They're really pushing it and working on it. And I know there's not a lot down there right now, but I know I've talked to a few business owners down there and then they have like a whole like downtown Corpus Christi organization now that's really pushing it. So
my friend worked for the downtown CC, and I think what they've done lately, because again, I've been here for 8 years, and then I used to live here 25 years ago. And the difference between when I first moved here and now is amazing. I love that they closed off part of that street, so it's more cooler to walk along the seaboard. You know what I'm talking? I don't know what it's called. Shoreline, I guess. I loved how they did all that, and I do like that they have more businesses down there.
They have apartment buildings down there now.
Yeah, apartments, like really nice hotels. Where of course used to be you just had like the one that you went to.
The Omni, like it was usually just the Omni.
The Omni and
Holiday Inn down there.
Right there on the
yeah, then Holiday Inn down there. So yeah, I imagine location is definitely probably the top.
I do think though, for a mattress store, I don't think that would be working. That would not work.
Yeah, so good luck with that. Looking for a new
I
location.
know.
You gave me a headache. I'm trying to think like where would I don't know. I don't know where I would.
Well, then there's also, we have laws we have to follow, like when it comes to fire codes, like because we have highly flammable products, you
Okay.
have a space over a certain amount without a sprinkler. So we have to, so if we don't have, if it has no sprinkler, it has to be this square footage. If it has a sprinkler, then we can have as big as we want. And then of course, but then it's too expensive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so anything on SPID is like ridiculous.
You know, like I said, I was a manager.
SPID, it's a little bit better. Say it
I
again.
was a manager at a furniture store, and I remember that sprinkler thing. Like we'd get inspected like every other month, from our corporate offices, and like the sprinklers, they couldn't be blocked, they couldn't be, and we would stack furniture in our back room, and we would stack it high, and it could only be like, so it had to be so far from the sprinkler, and drama. So now just a couple more questions before we wrap. Whenever y'all are, who looks up the like inventory, like who's in charge of saying like, oh, there's this cool new product that's coming out, I want to get it for our store? Who does that research? And how do you go? I guess you have distributors that you work with, like, I guess how does that process work, that you like, there's this cool new technology of mattress that a bunch of stores are going to get and you want it. How do you go about getting that?
A hybrid bed is the new thing, right? Everyone loves bed in a box. Everyone loves, they want to be able to like basically throw it in their pickup truck, take it home and put it together, right? Or so a hybrid means memory foam on top, coiling on the bottom. So it's memory foam mattress combined with a coiled mattress. Okay. That's the new thing because they're usually in a box or rolled up like a taco. So you say the word hybrid, and for some reason their brain goes, "Ooh, you have hybrids?" Like it's weird. It's just,
I think that's what I have because mine
came rolled up. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like the feel of it, what do you care if it's a hybrid? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Some people have like this. There's just so many things. You worked in furniture before, you kind of know. But like I can't tell you how many people are like, "Oh, I want a California King," and we have to ask them why. Because some people really think that California King means it's the best bed out there. And I'm like, a California King is actually shorter this way, but it's longer this way. And it's really for a tall person.
That's what it's meant for, is for a taller person.
It's really designed for a tall person. But if you are in a bed together with, two people, you've actually lost 8 inches this way and gained 8 inches this way. So it's,
like people would
sometimes they're like, "Oh, I had no idea." I'm like, yeah. So, but then that very small amount of times it's because they have like some headboard set that they got passed down from like generation to generation, and it's an actual California King. But the majority of the people that ask for a California King don't even know what it is.
Yeah, like people would be like, "I need a queen size mattress. There's no way I can have a full." And I would look in, when I go with my guys to deliver it, I'm like, I know that you need a queen, but a full is actually not that much smaller, and it would fit a lot better in your room.
Right.
Like I know it's not that much smaller, but you need every inch of free space in this room that you can have.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I would recommend.
Yeah, because the full is only like, the problem with the full is it's like 4 inches this way, but it's also this way. So like someone who is tall, like their feet will hang off. So that's the downside of a full. So when someone says they want a full, we sometimes will be like, "Are you sure?" Because if you got a queen, price-wise, it's not that big a deal, but you're limited on like your bedding products, like really cool sheets, and not sheets, but like comforters and stuff. Usually being geared towards children, you know what I mean?
That's
and not
true.
Like something really pretty. Like if you wanted to go to like some pretty outlet, like it wouldn't be like that. So, but it's just it's just part of the education process which is another thing you're not going to get if you buy a bed online. No offense to you, but I mean, like, I know some people love their beds. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, my mom would love to hear that. So don't worry. She's on your side. She hates it. I'm not going to even let my mom listen to this episode because she'll be like,
well, I think there's a place for everything with an online sale. But it just, people who are looking for quality products and wanting to save money and shop local, I think we're the best bet. If you don't mind, like, I mean, it worked out for you, and that's great. I know people who have purple beds and they never tried it out. I've tried out a purple bed. I don't like it. I don't like that crunchy, weird feel on my back. I think it's weird, but I know that some people think it's the most amazing bed ever, and that's great because everyone's different. This is a big, huge world out there, and so there's lots of room for competition, and it's okay.
Exactly. And competition never hurt anybody. It only makes things better. It makes
Yeah,
you
because it
better
makes
as
you
a
rise to the
business.
challenge, and if you don't rise to the challenge, then it doesn't work out for you. But that means you probably shouldn't have been in business to begin with. I
That
mean,
doesn't mean anybody in corporate should start another podcast like this. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding, guys. Yeah, so I actually just interviewed someone from another podcast, so I don't mind at all. And so before we go, thank you for again being on today. I've actually learned quite a bit, especially about a brick and mortar place, because I was looking for like an office kind of space, but it's kind of the same. It's like anything that I could afford right now is just in the dumps, and like I'm not going to go to that side of town.
well, have you looked
And
into that Cogs place?
well, then I found Cogs Co-working, and they actually want
Okay.
to be on. They actually are going to be on the show soon, and so I think I interview them next week. And so I think Bailey is the owner, and so I'm probably going to end up just renting an office out of there, an office space out of there.
I think if I had some kind of business where I didn't really physically need space, but I didn't want to be in my house all the time. You know, some people when they have kids, and especially with virtual, it's like I need out of this building. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be like a cool thing. I mean, it wouldn't work for me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When I saw it open, I follow them on Instagram, so I see their stuff all the time, and I was like, that's kind of smart.
And it's
Like,
cool because they have podcasting equipment there. Like they have a
oh,
whole
they
studio and
do?
everything. They have a whole
Wow.
studio and everything. So they invited me out there. So I'm probably going to do that. So yeah,
That's
enough
pretty
about
cool.
me. Enough about me. Before we wrap, now is the time for you to plug anything and everything you'd like. So find where people can find you on social media, your website, your address, all that good stuff.
Okay, so we are BoxDrop That Mattress Place. We're at 1251 Nile Drive, right off of McCardle and Nile. So it's like one block off of XBID. Our handle is at BoxDrop CC or at That Mattress Place CC. And both of those go to either Facebook or Instagram. All veterans and all teachers save 5% every day. No gimmicks, just and then we try not to do like crazy sales, like, you know, where it looks like we're gimmicking because our prices are so low. But every once in a while, we do have something going on. Usually on the bigger holidays, we'll have maybe free protectors or a certain $100 off of one of our, you know, super popular beds, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, we've done all the research, we've done all the whatever to make the beds affordable. We do have delivery if you're interested, but really we have a warehouse. Most people just get a pickup and go and get it themselves. Save money.
Awesome. So again, thank you for being here. We're definitely going to plug your Instagram in our show notes, so that way our listeners can just click it from their phone. It'll take you straight to their page and website. And that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for listening today. And when before we go, I want to make sure to say, go out in Corpus Christi, find somewhere new and cool to visit, because there's always somewhere new and cool in Corpus that you didn't even know existed. So make sure you head out, visit somewhere cool in Corpus, and we will talk next week, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.